try everything and adaptability. A lot of what I've had to go through is just having to learn to adapt to different situations, being able to look at something and go, okay, I can't do it that way, but can I do it this way type thing. It's that idea of, instead of focusing on what you can't do, focus on what you can do, and being able to adapt and try and adapt.
Today's episode is one you really don't want to miss. I got to talk with Lucinda Bueti, and her story is absolutely amazing. After a serious workplace injury, she had to have her leg amputated. That might sound like the end of the road. However, for Lucinda, it was a whole new beginning. She turned something really hard into something incredible, becoming a wheelchair basketball player for the Australian Gliders. What I learned from Lucinda is that sometimes we have to let go of things, even if it feels super tough, because this allows room for new, bigger and better opportunities. Lucinda is inspiring, and I truly appreciated how honest and open she was about her journey. This conversation isn't just for people going through tough times, it's for everyone. We can all learn something from Lucinda. Welcome, Lucinda, to the D8 Training Podcast. Tell us a bit about yourself and your background to the injury.
Today I was just doing my athlete bio for SASI, and it really made me have a think about how I describe myself and how I've started my journey to becoming an athlete. Growing up, my entire identity revolved around sport. I was the type of kid that would play any sport and every sport except for netball, which Mum really hated that I didn't play netball. I tried it but didn't like it. I was very big on basketball, football and soccer. I played for South Adelaide Panthers here in Adelaide. Then finishing up at school after going to university, my last year of university, I was doing a part-time job, full-time hours, and I had a workplace injury. It was a very minor injury, I thought. I'd knocked my knee on a shelf. It felt very painful. I remember I was in the aisle with another colleague, and the colleague walked out the aisle laughing because he thought I was playing a prank on him. And I was like, no, come back. I actually am in a lot of pain. I'd hit the corner of my knee. It was a very awkward hit. It was very sharp. I tried to keep moving through it. I really struggled to put weight through it, and I was in a lot of pain. Got some ice, put ice on it, thinking, the next day I'll wake up and it'll be fine.
Did you finish your shift?
Yes, I rang up the boss and said, I can't do anything. They said, look, just stay in the back office, do what you can in the back office, just sitting down. Don't worry about doing stuff around the store. So yeah, I finished my shift. The next morning when I woke up, it still didn't feel right. So I went to physio to have a look. They had a look at it and they were like, should I just get on some crutches and go back out to work? So I was like, okay then, this feels pretty bad, but okay, I will listen to what the physio is saying to me. The very next day it was no better whatsoever, so I went back there and I said to them, look, there's something really wrong, because normally this would be feeling better by now. I had a scan and it showed a meniscus tear in my knee, so they were kind of like, yes, that is painful, but you can keep going, doing what you're doing. So it took a couple of weeks till I saw a specialist. When I saw the specialist, it was the first time where someone took me seriously, but it was the complete other end of the spectrum where he was like to me, we reckon you'll have a 50% chance of getting 40% function in your knee. And we came out of that appointment going, hang on a second, that's not very good. I've knocked my knee on a shelf. It can't truly be that bad. After about a month, it didn't get any better. It was getting worse. It kept swelling up. It kept burning up. I went back to him and I was like, look, it's not getting any better. And he said, I think you've got some form of chronic pain. So I don't know what it is, but it definitely is reacting as if there's chronic pain there. He's like, we can try and fix what's mechanically wrong, see how it goes and work off of that. So that's what we did. I went in and had a surgery done. It was just a lateral release, fixing the meniscus, cleaning it up. So we got to about week 2, and by that point you're supposed to have a 90-degree bend in your knee, but I only had a 10-degree bend in the knee. And I had said to them, look, I think something's wrong here because it's still really painful. I can't put any weight through it. I can't bend it. A lot of the advice I was getting from doctors and physios was just push through it. Ignore the pain, just keep going. But the thing was is that I physically couldn't. So then we got to about 6 months post-injury, and I had a second surgery to try and clear out all the scar tissue that had developed. Following that surgery, pretty immediately, the knee had gone right back to where it was. It was inflamed again, there was scar tissue again, and it just wasn't reacting how it should. Doctor said, I'm going to refer you to a specialist physio who deals with a condition called complex regional pain syndrome. Complex regional pain syndrome is a condition that your nervous system and your brain does whatever it can to protect you. It sends messages to your body, this isn't right, you need to protect this, you need to stop this. So it'll send all these pain signals to try and get you to stop using, like in my case, the knee. It will say, we don't want you using the knee, so we're going to send signals to your leg to say, stop using it.
Is that what causes the pain?
Yeah, so it would be just the constant signals that were coming down. So like part of the treatment they do is like try and do desensitization, and like so they'll get something like a feather or a piece of tissue and rub it over your knee. The way my brain would interpret that would be like I was getting pricked with a needle. So a piece of tissue would feel like I was actually being stabbed with something. It just completely changes the way your body reacts to stimuli to try and get you to avoid using that part of it. I was confined to a wheelchair with my leg out straight. It's very inconvenient to get around the place. With this leg stuck out straight, you'd always be bumping it onto things, which then made it really painful. It also meant that I couldn't do any sports because it would be too much of a risk that you'd hit it, which made it very difficult. But also the levels of pain that I was in, I required a lot of medication to try and reduce the pain. I think it took about 5 years of trying everything. So pain specialists would discuss a lot about trying all these different options. I tried a spinal cord stimulator, which is like an internal TENS machine. For me, it just felt like I had a TENS machine under my leg the whole time, and I hated it. I had an intrathecal pump. I've had all different sorts of things, hydromorphone, morphine, fentanyl, clonidine, all these different combinations of medications that would be in the canister, and it would go through your spinal fluid, and throughout the day I would just release a steady flow of medication to try and reduce the pain that you're in. They didn't really work for me, so after trying a lot of these things and having them not really work, the pain specialist said, well look, I think the best thing for you is going to be to just amputate your leg. He's like, look, whilst it's only in your leg, you may as well just get rid of it. If you can't wear a prosthetic, at least you're in a wheelchair without a leg. Like, you're better off than being your leg sticking out. Worst case, you're walking around in crutches or using a day chair without a leg. Best case scenario, you're using a prosthetic and you're walking. But at the end of the day, you're just getting rid of that dead weight. It could get rid of the pain, but the thing was that it wasn't something that had been very common. When I was looking at it to see other people that had done it, I could only find 2 people on Instagram that had done it, and they were in the UK. So it was very unheard of for people with chronic pain conditions to have amputations done. The best option for me was to have osseointegration done. And he said there'd be a doctor in Sydney that I could see who will be able to help me. When I went in to see him, it was the first time I walked into a doctor's office, and I didn't have to explain what CRPS was. I didn't have to justify it, didn't have to show him any pictures. He knew exactly what it was. He said to me, draw a line. And I drew a line on my leg where the pain went up to, and he's like, now I want you to stand up. I stood up, and the colour changes went to just about that line. He goes, okay, we're going to chop your leg off 1 centimetre higher than this. The rod will stick out, so you connect your leg to the rod. It's not touching your skin. You shouldn't have any issues. And he was just so matter of fact about it. Like, he didn't say, this is going to, 100% going to work, but it was very much, I think this is your best option. I've done it before. I've had people that it has been a success on. It is a big thing to have osseointegration done, and it is something that is new. This could be big for you to have this done, and it could make a massive change for you. I had it done, and I remember I woke up following the surgery, and I said to Mum and Dad, I was like, did they do it? And they're like, what do you mean did they do it? I was like, I don't feel anything. Did they cut it off or not? Yes, they amputated your leg. And I looked down, and so I couldn't see whether or not the pillow was my leg. But it was just very much in my head going, this is weird because I can't feel anything. Normally there would be pain there, but there's no pain there, but it doesn't feel like, and because I couldn't feel the pain, I was like, did it really happen?
When you woke up, the pain was gone?
No pain whatsoever.
And was that the first time you hadn't felt pain in, 5 years?
Yeah, so, and that's what had just really confused me, was that it was the first time I couldn't feel any pain. And I was like, I know I'd be on a lot of medication at the moment. Previously, when I was on a lot of medication, I could still feel the pain. Eventually, the amputation pain did get there once the medication wore off, but it was very different to the CRPS pain. So with the CRPS, it didn't matter what I did, the pain was always there.
What were your initial thoughts? So when you got given that option of amputation, what went through your mind once you got that?
I think for me, it was one of those things where I went, I'd say I don't care. Like, it kind of was, I don't care, because it was like, you're in that headspace of I am in pain 24/7. I just want to get rid of it. Whatever I can do.
I'll try anything.
That's the point that I was at. Me and my pain specialist kind of had that understanding of once we hit that point of we'd tried everything, then we'll go into that. So that was always in the back of my mind. Like, I think there are definitely a lot of moments where you sit there and you go, you're in so much pain, you go, I really wish I could just cut this off right now, and that would get rid of the pain. And you have a lot of those moments when you're in that level of pain and you get to those points where you just like, you do just kind of go, you know what, let's just get rid of it.
So then once you got the prosthetic and your new leg, how was it? How did your life change?
2 days post-op, I went on to Paralympics Australia's website, found the email address for someone and asked them about what sports I could do. I was still in hospital when I was already looking up different sports that I could do. Let's get it started. The good thing about osseointegration is they get you up standing as soon as they can. So they'll get you weight bearing. So they'll put you on a scale and you try and put your weight through and you slowly build up your weight. Generally on your prosthetic within a week or two. It's a very quick transition of going back to, I hadn't walked in 5 years, and within a week post-op, I was walking with a prosthetic on.
How was it stepping back into life again?
Very quick, especially having gone from 5 years going absolutely nowhere to starting to walk within a week and then getting all these milestones one after another within a year. It was that idea of actually being able to progress and actually achieve things. Whereas before there was nothing I could do to get in a better spot. I was stuck in the same spot. Nothing was working to all of a sudden I'm able to actually hit these achievements. Prior to the amputation was, we'll set goals and we'll try and meet these goals within a week, within a month, within a year, and we would never hit those goals. But then after the amputation, it was a similar thing. When I set goals for a week, month, year, and we're hitting them faster than what we would normally. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work towards something because I'm a very goal-oriented person. So if it was, I'm going to work towards this, then I can get there, and once I get there, I look ahead to the next thing and keep going on that way. And that's the way I just find it easy to stay on track with something. Whereas prior to the amputation, there was no goal setting. You couldn't set a goal because you didn't know what would happen. Then all of a sudden, I was actually able to set attainable goals that I could achieve, and it just completely changes the mindset and the way you're looking at things.
What I find amazing, because I was reflecting on your story, I admire how you're able to turn this into such a positive. You started playing the basketball. Well, not only playing basketball, you're in the Australian Gliders team. You've gone to Dubai, whereas you could have felt sorry for yourself. You could have not participated in life, and that would have been justifiable as well. So I think what you're doing has been absolutely extraordinary. How did you find the strength and the purpose to overcome this and then thrive and just achieve as much as you have?
I went so long not being able to do anything and being stuck in that mindset of this is crap because I can't do anything. For me, it's always been sports has been a way for me to escape and being able to do things and just being happy. If I'm out playing sports, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm happy. Not being able to do the things that I loved made it very hard, and then you do get stuck in those negative mindsets because I can't do the thing that I enjoy to do. The most activity I could do was using a hand bike, and it was very painful having to just use a hand bike for 5 years because I couldn't get my heart rate to those high heart rates that you need to be able to going yes, I feel like I'm exercising. Whereas post-amputation, I could start, even walking this is a challenge. I was able to challenge myself and then just changes how you think of things, and you just work and do things, and it's just a much better mindset to be in. Then I started playing wheelchair basketball when I met all these incredible people who have very similar stories or very different stories. Like, there's so many different people out there with different experiences, and there is this one common thing that brings them out. They come out to play basketball and have fun. It is just that ability to, when you're out on the court, it doesn't matter what your disability is, you're just out there playing. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or not. We have people that are able-bodied that come out and play, and it is out on the court, everyone's just out there playing together because they're enjoying it, and it's something to do, and it's a better mindset to be in. And if you're out there doing that, it's, even if it's for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's 5 or 10 minutes, you're not worrying about the other side of it. I see people coming out there that they won't be out for a couple of weeks because they've had pressure sores, and then they get in a really bad headspace, and then they come out one time again and you see them completely change when they're out on the court because they're out there having fun. It's a really big thing to be able to come out and just do something. You're not thinking about everything else, you can just focus on something different.
Sounds like you've got a good appreciation for being able to actually do things.
Very much. It was very much not being able to do anything, and then now it's making sure I'm always doing something. I've had chats with people from Return to Work and said, you know what, I think this is a great way to get people to come out, get back out into working life, because if you're out there playing basketball, all of a sudden this is something I can do. You're not worrying about, because a lot of Return to Work stuff is what you can't do. And it's like, well, why not focus on the things you can do? So if you're out there participating in a sport, you're going, well, I can do this. So if I can come out and participate in a sport, surely I can go out and sit at a desk for 10 minutes. If I can play basketball for 10 minutes, I can sit at a desk for 10 minutes. It's just this idea of changing the way you're thinking from what I can't do to what I can do. And that's a very big part of what we do as a team, is that it doesn't matter what your classification is, what your disability is, everyone's got a role in the team. If you can't shoot, okay, you can push a chair and get in the way, be a screen for a big to sit behind and have a shot. There's always a role that for people in the team, no matter what. We focus on what you can do, which is what I like about sports, especially team sports, is it's all about what you can do.
I love that. I know that I've been guilty of even thinking, oh, I haven't got this, or I don't have this, or I can't do this. Whereas once I start focus, hold on a second, I've got a roof under my head, I've got a family, and then once I start appreciating what I have and what I'm able to do, my mood and I'm a lot more better as well, which means, ironically, I can do more.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very different way of thinking. When I did have my amputation, I was in intensive care. Mum had a doctor come up to her and say to her, I can't believe you let your daughter do that. Mind you, I was 26 at the time. So Mum was like, she's an adult, she can make her own decisions. But it was the fact that this doctor was just saying to her, I can't believe you let your daughter do this. Whilst I'm laying in a hospital bed with my leg amputated, Mum's getting crucified for letting me do something. And then Mum just turned around and said to them, she's an adult, she makes her decisions, but who are you to come in and tell us what we should and shouldn't be doing? We know what is best for us, and this is going to open up so many possibilities for her. And it did change absolutely everything for me and what was available to me. So someone looking in without knowing anything about us, having that comment, it's like, don't tell us what have you done. Look at it for what it is. Hey, I had 5 years of absolute hell, and since then it has been an incredible life I've had. I've travelled all around the world, I've done so many amazing things, and that decision to amputate my leg facilitated that. So yes, I had to amputate my leg to get there, but I gained a better one with the prosthetic. I gained so much more in terms of what I was able to do because I no longer had that dead weight. I no longer had this limitation. So I don't care about what I can't do. I don't care about the fact that I had my leg amputated because that was then, this is now.
It sounds like it's opened up so many opportunities. What changes did you notice with people as you had your leg amputated and changed? Did you notice a change, or how did you find that?
A lot of people don't know how to approach it, and I think a lot of people, when I meet people that had only known me, not when I had my injury, just the idea of who I was and whatnot, it's very much, they feel bad for me, and you have a lot of people that go, they feel really bad, and I go to them, why though? Like, I'm in a much better spot now. It was crappy time to go through. But and I always say to people, I'm a lot better off now without my leg than what I was with my leg. For me, the amputation wasn't a bad thing. There's some people that don't know how to react to it. My brother loves to say to me, he hates it whenever I say I have a disability. He's like, why do you have a disability? And I was like, well, technically I do have a disability. He's like, but you can do all the things you could do before your accident, so you don't have a disability. I was like, yeah, I don't have a leg. And he's like, yeah, but you've got a prosthetic leg. It's a mechanical leg. It's better than what you had, so do you have a disability? And we would get into arguments about it because he refuses to let me say that I have a disability because to him, I'm doing more than what I was before, so therefore it can't be a disability.
Because I look at us like, we're all children. If you believe in God, we're children of God, but we're all the same. We're all humans at the end of the day.
It's weird. In the sporting space, we get treated like the other athletes. We're exactly like the able-bodied athletes, so we get treated like able-bodied athletes, but we aren't able-bodied. Able-bodied athletes don't have the same constraints that we do because I have to worry about going to a physio to get treatment, I have to worry about going to a doctor to get treatment. I'm still on a lot of pain medications. There's so many other things that I have to worry about, bringing my day chair, my prosthetic with me when I go out to tournaments. Whilst, yes, it's great that you treat me like you would an able-bodied athlete, at the end of the day, I'm not an able-bodied athlete. I do have all these other things that I have to worry about. So it's like, you understand where it's coming from, but you go, you know what, you do have to treat me differently because at the end of the day, yes, I am different. At the end of the day, there are all these different things that we have to think about on top of it that do make us different to someone who is able-bodied. There are certain aspects where you treat me like you'd treat everyone else, but then there's other aspects where you go, I have to accept that, yes, I am different and I therefore do have different needs.
In terms of the needs and accommodating what you need to be able to fulfill the sport or the task, ensure that it's enabled to do that.
Yeah.
Treating everyone the same with the kindness, love.
Yeah, very much. It's when you're talking about you as a person, you're still the same person, right? It is still need to be treated like everyone else is getting treated. Then there are some aspects where it's like, I do need a wider car space so I can get out. The amount of times I'll have people randomly come up to me and say, you don't need to park there. And I'll be like, hang on a second, I've got a permit. And they'll be like, and I'll show them I've got a prosthetic leg and they'll be like, but exactly, you can walk. And I'll be like to them, but it's not a matter of the fact that I can walk. It's the fact that I can't get out of my car. I have to open my car door very wide to get my prosthetic on. If I'm parking in a normal car space, I can't do that.
People come up to you and ask you that?
Yeah, I've had a few people. I've had a few arguments. If someone comes up and taps on your windows and goes, excuse me, you should not be parked here, I'll first show the permit and then it'll be, they don't believe you with the permit, especially because of my age and looking a lot younger. I think people assume that people with disabilities are older and they see someone young and they go, you shouldn't be parked there. I had someone, I said to her, look, I've got a prosthetic, I need the space. And she goes, yeah, but you can walk, other people can't. Just because I can walk doesn't mean that I don't deserve to park here. And the silly part was, she didn't have a disability permit. She wasn't someone who needed to disabled park. She was just arguing for the sake of arguing.
That has absolutely blown me away. You spoke a bit about your mum and your dad, how they supported you. How important was your team and the people around you to help you thrive?
For the 5 years that I had my leg affected by CRPS, I couldn't drive. I relied on my parents to take me absolutely everywhere. So it was, if I needed to go anywhere, they needed to take me. Even afterwards, just having that support through it, especially when you do have the doctors telling you that it's in your head, that you're not trying hard enough, having your family backing you up, saying that what they're saying is not true, that it's just that extra support is very much needed. Just that idea of just having someone telling you that you are doing the right thing. You know that you're doing the right thing, but just having someone else saying it just helps.
Your mum's amazing. So she comes here to the D8 training gym, and I know it's a little bit further out for her, but the fact that she knows the benefit, she's seeing good results, she keeps coming and showing up, whereas there's many people that believe they should be doing it, but they've got every excuse that they don't.
Mum absolutely loves it. She's always going on about it. I remember the first time she came back from one of the sessions, she's like, oh, I can't do this. And then a week later, she's like, oh my God, I can do this now. Every time someone new was coming into the house, look what I can do now. She's loving seeing the results. I think it's sort of like for me, when you start seeing results, you completely change the way you think about things. That's what it's been for her. Like, she's seeing results, so she's going, I'm going to keep coming back.
Well, it sounds like she's a good person to have around. But let's get into the Australian gliders. So 2 days in, you're finding what sports you can play. How did you settle on wheelchair basketball?
Actually, it took a while to get to wheelchair basketball. Unfortunately, when I first asked what sports were available, and I specifically asked about wheelchair basketball, I got told that there wasn't any wheelchair basketball in Adelaide, which wasn't true, but I didn't find that out till 2 years later. So when I was first looking for sports, I was put in the direction of rowing and cycling. So I started cycling for a bit. I was going to the velodrome and doing some cycling with some able-bodied cyclists, but I hated the disconnect. Like, I was by myself a lot of the time. Like, there were other people there, but it was just me cycling on the spot by myself. I was talking to Darren Hicks, who's a Paralympic cyclist, and he said to me, cycling is very solitude. He's like, it's early mornings, you have to really want it. He's like, if you're not enjoying it, don't do it, because in order to succeed in a sport, you need to do it because you want to do it, not just because people are telling you to do it, which was really good to hear from him. I started doing cycling because I wanted to ride a bike again. So I was going into it with, I'm going to ride a bike with my prosthetic on. So he kind of gave me the push I needed to go, you know what, I'm not enjoying this. I'm going to try and find something else. Mum had a patient at work who said to her, hey, there's a come and try happening at the lights. They're going to have wheelchair basketball there. You should take your daughter out. So we went out, and I was supposed to be there trying all the sports, but I went straight to wheelchair basketball, did not leave wheelchair basketball. Stayed there and then started training with the state team. At that point, I think I was 27. I got into sport, and it was just within a couple of weeks, the coach was like, you know, we need to get you seen. I couldn't do any of the state level competitions because they were all junior competitions, and I was past the junior age. He believed in me enough to talk to the Australian coach about me and tell him, you know, you got to invite her out to one of your camps. So they did. I got a phone call from the Australian coach probably a couple of months into playing the sport, and he said, look, we're going to invite you to come out to one of our training camps. It'll be great, just come out, have fun. And that's what I did. So my very first camp for the gliders, I was sharing a room with all these girls that had achieved all this success. It was a very weird experience, but they treated me like one of them right from the start, which it was a very accepting environment, which made it so much easier to just feel a part of the team and then just being able to go out and just have fun. They made it so much easier for me because it was just, you know, go out there, just have fun. Don't worry about what it is we're training for, just play how you play. They did a lot to teach me how to play. Yeah, it was very, very quick coming into the sport.
It was quick, but it's all your years of training that you did with that before the injury, all your athletic ability. And then as soon as you were walking, it sounded like you were looking at how you could run.
My coach keeps telling me, he's like, you look like you're trying to run in your wheelchair. I was like, what do you mean I'm trying to run in my wheelchair? He's like, every time you're pushing, you can see that you're trying to run. And he's like, don't use your legs so much. You need to use your legs, but you just look like you're like moving so much. Whenever I played soccer, I was always the player on the floor. I would get up and keep running, but I was running so hard and fast that I would always be on the ground, and basketball's no different. I'm always flipping my chair over. I'm always on the ground. I've just come back from a selection camp, and the coach was like to me at one point, I was on the ground, I looked up and he looks at me and he goes, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just need a breather. I'll be good. And he's just like, you can keep going. I was like, yes, don't worry about me. I'm on the ground, but I'm still going.
I love it. As you were saying that, the song that was playing in my mind is Ain't Nothing Gonna Knock Me Down. That's going to be like your theme song.
I think my whole team would agree with you on that.
So what does training look like for you?
It's a lot. We train 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. It's gym, so I do 3 gym sessions a week.
Is that strength training, weight sessions?
Yeah, so we do a lot of weight sessions. I do 2 heavy lifts and then a lighter load, which is normally core work. Then we do on-court training, which is a mixture between physical training, so pushing your chair skills sorts of stuff, a lot of shooting training, but we have to have at least 3 on-court sessions and at least 2 gym sessions, and then your own time shooting. It is generally me and one of the other girls that's also on the gliders team with me. We're generally doing a lot of training, just the two of us. We'll go out and do pushing and shooting. So this year we put in a team for National League for the first time in I think 5 years.
When you say National League, what's that?
So the National Wheelchair Basketball League. Since about the 1970s, there's been some form of a National Wheelchair Basketball League.
And is that Australia-wide?
Yeah, Australia-wide. So once upon a time, Adelaide used to be very dominant. Then as we got into the early 2000s, into 2010s, it really died down. When Disability Reckons Sports folded, there was no one there to pick up the piece and maintain wheelchair basketball, which is where SA Wheelchair Basketball Association came in. They took over the running of wheelchair basketball in South Australia. Since then, it's been very hard to get anywhere with wheelchair basketball in South Australia. Well, last year we had 7 athletes on a SASSY scholarship for wheelchair basketball, which was the biggest we'd had in a long time. We've got 3 boys on the junior men's team. So that's the under 23s, for the men's national team. So that's the spinners. There were 3 of us girls on the Australian gliders team here in SA. One of them, she's gone to go do medicine instead.
From basketball to medicine.
It was a very tough pick for her. She'd always wanted to do medicine. She went into medicine, but every now and then she still plays locally, thank God. But it's just that idea of we've been able to build something here in SA, maintain something here in SA, which I think is a testament to a lot of the people that are out here putting in the hours that they do. And the thing with para sports is it's all volunteer stuff. A lot of the coaches are volunteering their time. Even like the national coaches, it's predominantly volunteer work. They do get some minor payments when they're the senior coach, but it's still not a lot compared to the amount of time they actually invest into the teams. And then the same with the players themselves, who do get grants every now and then or scholarships, very minor ones that help go towards training, travelling to and from training, for example. But a lot of the time it is just a lot of time management between doing work and training. And
you're putting in your time as well for the SA Wheelchair Basketball as the president.
Yes, it was one of those ones where it was, as players you should be on the board to help make the decisions because they're decisions about you, so you should be there. Okay, I'll put my hand up to be on the board, but travelling around, so I'll be in the background. Oh, do you want to be deputy chair? Yeah, sure, I'll be deputy chair. What do I need to do? You don't need to do anything. We'll just help build you up. And then I think, 4 months after that conversation, it was, by the way, I'm stepping down, so that means you have to go into president. And I was like, what? What do I have to do? And it's been a lot of learning on the fly.
Yeah. As we've been talking and having this conversation, what I admire about you, it seems like you've just got this zest and passion for life. You're like, I'll give it all a go. I'll try it and figure it out. And from what it sounds like, you're able to figure it all out along the way.
Yes, it's a lot of I'll figure it out as I go.
Yeah. So what has been one of your career highlights or a proudest moment so far?
Sporting-wise, definitely going to Dubai for World Champs. With that, and one of the other girls from Adelaide were pushing around, and our captain got asked to do an interview, and we were both sitting there laughing at her, and she goes, you know what, these 2 are brand new, you should interview them. And so the 2 of us had to sit there, do an interview, and we're like sitting there, and it's funny, we got photos from it, and both of us are just kind of like, we have no clue what we're doing, but it was just one of those things where you're like, it was the first time representing Australia at a major tournament. It felt amazing, just the team environment. And back here, it's very much what we've been able to do. We're putting in a women's team for National League. We've never had a women's team in Adelaide for wheelchair basketball. So just being able to put a team in for a women's team, having enough girls here playing.
I love that.
And
that's fantastic.
Exactly. So it's like being able to have such a wide group of girls. These girls want to play. We've been trying whatever we can, trying to find sponsors and ways to get money so we can get players out. So National League, for example, this year, I had 2,500 to participate in men's league and 1,500 to participate in women's league. That's just the expectation, is that you just pay the money to go out to these tournaments. You have to go out to the tournaments because there's no other way to get game time. I have these girls that are going, I don't care what I have to pay, I just want to play. I just want the opportunity to keep playing the sport. I'm loving the sport, so you know what, yeah, I don't care. And these ladies at 55 going, if you honestly want me to play, I'll play. Like, you know, tell me if I'm too slow for you. And it's like, you know what? Like, if you want to come out and play, I don't care if you can't push as fast as I can. Your drive to come out and train, like that there is worth so much more than anything. Yeah, that there's been a massive milestone for me, being able to put this women's team in.
That's a fantastic achievement, and I love how you've got all the different age groups as well. Well, I've just started Masters Athletics, and that's got a range of age groups, because even though it's over 35s, you can have kids run in there as well. And just seeing some of them that are a lot older than I am, and the way that they can move, I'm like, I hope I look like you and I can still do that at your age.
That was the biggest thing. Like, my first camp being there, I was 28, and it was like all the girls were like to me, you're at the wrong end, and I'll be like, thank you for assuming that I'm a lot younger than what I am, but no, I'm at the right end. And they'll be like, no, you should be down the end with the juniors. So I was like, I'm definitely not a junior, guys. I'm a year older than you. And they'll be like, what? But now we've got one of the girls in the team. She used to play for the Gliders in the 2010s era, and she's come back at the age of 40 playing with the team. I say to her, absolutely love having you in the team. I'm like, you're a great inspiration for everyone, but you also make me go, thank God I've got at least another 10 years in the sport. So if you can play at 40, I can play at 40. It's one of those things where age doesn't really matter as long as you can do it. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter how old you are, as long as you can keep moving.
100%. And you can even see in some of the elite athletes, they're able to play a lot longer.
Yeah.
And I'm approaching 40, and I feel like I'm stronger now and can do more now than I could when I was younger. If you could share one key takeaway from your journeys that listeners can apply to their own lives, what would that be?
Try everything. Try everything, and adaptability. A lot of what I've had to go through is just having to learn to adapt to different situations, being able to look at something and go, okay, I can't do it that way, but can I do it this way type thing. It's that idea of, instead of focusing on what you can't do, focus on what you can do, and being able to adapt and try and adapt. Those are the two biggest things. So just trying whatever I can.
I love that. And where can people follow your journey or learn more about wheelchair basketball and how to get involved?
So I have a Instagram and Facebook page, both with my name, Lucinda Bueti. For wheelchair basketball here in South Australia, there is SA Wheelchair Basketball Association on Facebook and Instagram, as well as a website. And on a broader sense, through Paralympics Australia and Basketball Australia, both have information about wheelchair basketball.
Perfect. I'll put it all into the show notes so that they can click on your links. I've got two more questions before we finish up. What is one habit that someone can start today to make a positive impact on their training or vitality?
Pushing themselves. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is, don't look at something and think it's too hard. Just try it. We kind of do it a bit with the weights. It's, what do you get at the gym? Oh, you know, at the moment I'm doing 3 sets of 45 kilos at 4 reps. And he's like, okay, well, we only need 1 for your max rep. So if you can do 2 reps at 50, then we got to push it at 55. And it was the idea of, we're just slowly adding weights on and just going, okay, let's see how much you can go, which was a very different way of approaching it. But I managed to get 50 kilos for my bench press. With the bench pull, I almost got 57.25, which would have been massive personal best. So I got 55 with my bench pull. Just try it. Don't think something's too hard. Obviously within reason, but yeah, try it, try everything.
100%. I love that. That is perfect advice. And if you don't try, you don't know.
Exactly.
And last question, what does dominate mean to you?
For me, it's a mindset. It's very easy to get down about things, and sometimes you've just got to change the way you look at things and go, you know what, I'm going to do the best I can do. And so when I'm dominating at something, I'm doing the best I can. And I am at my best for what it is. It's not a matter of what other people's best is, it's what's best for me. So if I'm hitting at what's best for me, that's dominating for me.
I love that. That's true. It's about yourself.
Yes, this is what I'm hitting, this is what I want to hit. And you get so used to that idea of, this is my goal. It doesn't matter what's happening next to me. Yeah, I'm going to race the person next to me because I'm very competitive. I know now that it's as long as I'm beating my best, like that's what should matter to me more than worrying about beating someone else.
Okay. And I love looking at other people for inspiration. So if they can, like you've just said to me, you've done 50 on the bench press. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go try going up next lesson. Not to try to beat you, whereas, hold on, you've opened up my mindset that, hey, I can do more.
One of the girls hit 86. The entire gym just stopped and went over and was like cheering her on for 90. She didn't hit 90, she has before, but it was just like watching her, it was just like, that is insane. I wish I could do that. Like,
I'll get them, maybe not today, but let's aim for it. Great.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Thank you so much, Lucinda, for joining us today. This was fantastic. You're truly incredible and inspiring. When your mum mentioned and shared your journey, I was like, yeah, we definitely need to get her onto the show. I want to hear how you were able to keep on going and achieve what you have achieved post your injury. So it's phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning into the D8 Training Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and follow our show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Your support means the world to us. It helps us grow and continue bringing value to more people. Until next time, dominate your life.